Have you ever looked someone in the eyes, someone who seemed charming, warm, maybe even inspiring, and felt that deep down, something didn't quite match? Maybe it was just a flicker, a subtle tension behind their smile, or a hollow ring in their words. You couldn't explain it, but something told you this isn't the full picture. And you were right. We live in a world that prizes presentation over presence. Social media has taught us how to curate the perfect smile, the ideal life, and the most digestible version of ourselves. But here's the question. How do you really know who someone is beneath the image? The truth is, most of us don't until it's too late, until the mask slips, until the cracks become impossible to ignore. As a student of human behavior and a lifelong observer character, I've learned something essential. You don't need a psychology degree to read people. You just need to know what to look for. And in this video, I'll show you the two most powerful, yet subtle signs that reveal a person's true character. These signs aren't loud or dramatic. They don't show up in a job interview or on a dating profile. They show up in the quiet, unscripted moments when no one is watching. And once you learn how to spot them, you'll never unsee them. But more importantly, you may begin to see yourself more clearly too. The illusion of image. Let's be honest. Humans are incredibly good at pretending. We learn from a young age how to behave when the teacher is watching, how to impress on a first date, how to make a good impression at work. And to some extent, that's necessary. Social behavior requires a bit of performance. But over time, some people become so attached to their image that it replaces their identity. They forget how to be real. They rely on charm, charisma, or confidence to mask deeper wounds, insecurities, fears of inadequacy, or unresolved trauma. So how do we see past the surface? Psychologists often talk about microbehaviors, those tiny moments where authenticity leaks through the mask. I call these the hidden windows of the soul. And today, I want to help you recognize two of the clearest windows that will tell you almost everything you need to know about someone's emotional maturity, inner values, and integrity. Sign number one, how they treat people who can't help them. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting at a restaurant, and your friend is kind and funny with you, but dismissive to the waiter. They barely make eye contact, speak in a clipped tone, maybe even act annoyed. That's not just rudeness. That's a character revelation. Here's why it matters. When someone treats a person with no social advantage, no status, no power, no ability to give something in return, you're seeing who they really are. Because in those moments, the performance drops. There's nothing to gain. So what's left is the truth. How someone interacts with a janitor, a barista, a stranger asking for directions, or a colleague who made a small mistake, those moments are far more revealing than any resume, selfie, or polished persona. And it's not about being overly nice or fake polite. It's about consistency of respect. A truly grounded person doesn't shift their kindness based on someone's perceived usefulness. They treat the CEO and the intern with the same baseline of humanity. Why? Because their actions are guided by internal values, not external status. From my personal experience, whether in coaching, business, or everyday life, the people who show genuine kindness when no one is watching tend to be the most emotionally safe and trustworthy individuals you can have in your circle. The psychology behind disrespect. Now let's flip the coin. What about those who act entitled or dismissive toward people they see as beneath them? Psychologists point to a common root: insecurity. You see, arrogance isn't confidence, it's compensation. It's a fragile ego inflating itself by stepping on someone else. And when someone consistently belittles others in powerless positions, what you're actually witnessing is an unhealed wound, a distorted need for control, superiority, or validation. And that's dangerous. These behaviors are subtle, easy to miss if you're not looking. But they are windows into how that person sees themselves and others. They reveal emotional immaturity, and more often than not, a pattern of relational dysfunction. So the next time you're evaluating someone, whether it's a friend, a leader, or a potential partner, don't be fooled by the way they treat you when they want something. Watch how they treat people they don't need. That's where character lives. Reflection moment. Turn the lens inward. Now let's pause for a moment. As much as this is about seeing others clearly, it's also about seeing ourselves more honestly. So I invite you to ask yourself, how do I treat people who have nothing to offer me? Do I rush past them? Do I judge them? Or do I pause even for a second to offer a moment of presence, a smile, a word of kindness? Because authenticity isn't loud. It lives in small, quiet choices. And those choices stack up to form the architecture of who we are. Coming up next, the second sign, the promise test. If this first sign revealed how someone relates to others, the next one will show you how they relate to themselves and their values. In the next section, we'll talk about something seemingly simple, yet profoundly revealing, how someone makes and keeps a promise. Because character isn't built in big moments. It's revealed in the small ones. And when someone gives you their word, you're not just hearing a sentence. You're witnessing their relationship with integrity. So stay with me. We're just getting to the heart of it. We ended the last section by asking, how do people treat those who have nothing to offer them? Now, we take it one step further to something even quieter, even harder to fake. How someone treats their own promises. Because if the first sign reveals how they see others, this second sign reveals how they see themselves. Why promises matter more than we realize. Most people don't think twice when they say, I'll be there at 3, or let me call you tomorrow, or we should grab coffee sometime. These phrases seem harmless, even casual. But every time someone speaks a promise, even a small one, they are creating a moment of agreement with their integrity. Think about it. A person's word is a reflection of their inner structure. When they say they'll do something and they follow through, they are aligning thought, intention, and action. They are building a bridge between what they believe and how they live. But when someone consistently breaks small promises, arrives late without apology, forgets commitments, or casually says things they never act on, they're not just being forgetful. They're eroding the foundation of trust, not only with others, but within themselves. The micro fractures of broken promises. Let's get real for a moment. We've all had that friend who's always 5 minutes away, but shows up 30 minutes late. Or the person who promises to help, to call, to follow through, but leaves you hanging. On the surface, it might seem like no big deal. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. They are telling you their time is more valuable than yours. They are showing you their words don't carry weight. They are revealing that their integrity is negotiable depending on mood, convenience, or attention span. And that's not something to ignore. Because if someone can't keep small promises, how will they handle the big ones when pressure's high, when things get uncomfortable, or when no one is watching? In business, in friendship, in love, the currency of trust is built not on big declarations, but on small consistencies. A person who honors their word, even when it's inconvenient, is telling you they live by principle, not by performance. The subtle pattern of self-betrayal. Now here's the part people rarely talk about. When someone breaks their word to you, it's often because they've already learned to break their word to themselves. They say they'll start waking up early. They don't. They plan to finish that project. They quit halfway. They promise themselves they'll stop texting that toxic person, but they go back. Again, these aren't just habits. They're patterns of self-betrayal. And when someone normalizes the act of betraying their own intentions, they'll eventually normalize it with you too. That's why watching how someone keeps or breaks their promises, especially the small ones, is so revealing. It tells you whether they operate from discipline or impulse, from principle or pretense. Personal reflection. Where have you gone quiet on yourself? Now, before we wrap this up, I want to offer a moment of reflection, not just about others, but about you. Ask yourself, where have I broken promises to myself? Where have I said tomorrow one too many times? Where have I lowered my standards, not because I changed my values, but because I got tired of holding myself to them? This isn't about shame. It's about awakening. You don't have to become perfect overnight. You just have to start noticing the quiet places where your integrity is calling you back, one promise at a time. The final insight: character isn't shown, it's revealed. To sum it all up, if you want to know who someone truly is, don't look at how they act when things are easy. Look at the quiet, unscripted moments. Watch how they treat people they don't need. That shows you how their heart works. Watch how they keep or don't keep their promises. That shows you how their soul works. These aren't just signs. They're maps. And when you learn to read them, you'll stop wasting time on the wrong people and start building deeper, more honest, more meaningful relationships with others and with yourself. If this message resonated with you, if it stirred something within you, or helped you see yourself or others more clearly, then I invite you to take one small action today. Subscribe for more content like this, deep, reflective, and designed to elevate your thinking. Comment below, what's one promise you've kept lately that made you proud? Or one pattern you're ready to break? Like this video if it helped you see the quiet power of character in a new light. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect. It's about living real, and that begins with awareness. I'll see you in the next video. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Maya Angelou. And when you show yourself who you can become, believe that too.